We are back revisiting another classic, this time the Holy Hand Grenade of Bourbon.
What?
Right here, I'm going to cue our video editor to put in Rays of Light from Heaven, angels singing in the background. Let's get into it.
You're going to cue yourself?
Yeah, I'm the video editor. I'm not doing any of that.
Welcome to Stuff and Whiskey. I'm Erin.
I'm Josh. We are back with another Classics Revisited. Don't tune out just yet. We're covering Blantons today. This one's going to be a fun one. We're not here to poo-poo on this product. We also are not here to put this product up on a pedestal. We are going to taste it in the context of not having had it in quite some time ourselves.
When he picked this bottle, he showed it to me and I was like, oh, I haven't had that for a hot minute. He goes, yeah, me either.
This is something we don't drink very often ourselves. I mean, we pretty much just use these for channel content, or if somebody comes over to the house that hasn't had it before, let them try it. So this is going to be interesting to talk about. What we do know about this bottle is that it is from the Buffalo Trace Distillery. We know that it's at least 4 years old because it says Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, but it does not have an age statement. Okay. So it could literally be 4 years on the dot. It's probably a little older than that, but probably not a lot older than that. And of course, there's all kinds of baggage that goes with this bottle. But the reason we do these Classics Revisited is because we have some type of personal background with the bottle. And for us, that is true with Blantons. And as you go ahead and get into the nose here, if you want, I'll go ahead and let everybody know our personal background here.
Yes, and also I have to take this ponytail holder off my wrist because it's really hurting me. It's a little too tight. I'm sorry. That's like, I should have done that earlier.
For these, the first one of these we got, I never paid attention to Blantons before, wasn't involved in any of the online forums, any of the online hype, any Facebook groups or anything like that. We simply had a friend who worked at a liquor store and went in there looking for something. He gave us a bottle of this. And he presented it in such a way that I was like, all right, whoop-de-doo.
Yeah.
And then I tasted it, and it's fine. I mean, we'll see how it strikes us today, given the context of all we've learned over the years. But at the time, it didn't impress me. I didn't know it was supposed to impress me. I knew it was a good-looking bottle.
Yeah.
It's one of the best-looking bottles in the game. Like I said, the Holy Hand Grenade of Bourbon.
Well, and I think as someone who got into whiskey later in life, myself, Blanton's, from my perspective, was the thing that like newer whiskey people were always hunting. Like when they got into whiskey, everyone's like, oh, I want Blantons. Oh, I want Blantons. And I never understood why, but I just smelled it and it smells good to me. It smells like if I haven't had a lot of whiskey or I'm someone who doesn't like the burn that whiskey gives, Blanton smells like it's going to be pleasant. I haven't tasted it yet and I haven't had it in a while, but like it smells good. Like it smells sweet. But it smells like whiskey, smells like alcohol, but doesn't smell like some of the stuff we drink, like the hot stuff. Yeah. So I can see why it's stuff that people, especially if they haven't tried a lot of other things, and that's not a good thing or a bad thing. Like I'm just trying to put it into perspective as to how I was introduced to Blantons. It was kind of earlier on in my whiskey journey as a 30-something. And everyone was like, oh, you got to get Blantons. Oh, you got to get Blantons. Oh, you got to get Blantons.
Yeah.
And I was like, why? What's so special about it?
Well, it's got a horse on the top,
and
right
you
here.
Collect them.
And you can, Now, at the end of this, we will say how much we would pay for a bottle of this, and we will also talk about a few other things, like who we think this is for. But the collectible toppers thing, this one is an S. And I think there's maybe like 2 different ends or something. Anyways, the collectability aspect of these doesn't matter a single bit to us. And we're not saying it shouldn't matter to you.
But it is good marketing.
It's good marketing.
Not gonna lie.
But we're just not into that sort of thing. I mean, you can kind of see the vibe that we have in the studio here. Displaying a topper stave isn't the thing that we are going to do.
Right. It's not our personal preference, but I can see how it could be people's, because it's if you're in a collective mindset, like marketing genius. Yeah. Genius move.
And Blanton's can claim to be the first single barrel ever. It is the original single barrel.
Really?
Yes. Albert Blanton would...
I mean, that's kind of cool.
It is cool. And there's no taking that away. I'm a huge single barrel fan.
Yeah.
But it's different. Like, I'm not so much a single barrel fan of lower proof regular products as much as I am things like store picks or like we do barrel picks over on Patreon.
So what are you getting on the nose? Anything in particular?
It just smells to me like fruit juice that has sugar and alcohol in it. Like sugary fruit juice alcohol.
Yeah, I can see that. And I think a lot of people like that.
Yeah.
That's why it's such a sought after product.
Yeah, especially if you've tried scotch or something like that and you come over to this, you're going to get that caramelly sweetness that bourbon offers you. To me, this is coming across like apple juice, grape juice, maybe a little cherry
kind
mixed
of
in
like
there
a
as well.
combination of apple and grape juice. Okay, can we drink this?
Yeah. Cheers.
Yeah, that's good. Like, I just find it to be generally pleasant. Like, it is a good, pleasant experience.
Yeah.
Am I going to go out of my way to get this? Probably not, because I can get this same experience with other things easier.
Regular old Buffalo Trace for that matter. But
this is good. Like, I am having a good experience with this. This tastes good. It tastes like it smells to me. It tastes kind of sweet. It tastes, it does taste less sweet than it smells, but there is a still, like, sweet forefront.
Yeah, it's fruit sweet forward.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes it so pleasant for people. It does have a little bit of spice over the regular Buffalo Trace. I know what I'm drinking. In blind tastings, it doesn't stand out a ton.
Yeah, okay.
Truthfully told, you can go back through our archives. Blantons has been in head-to-heads against multiple things in our archives, and we tend to put this up against other bottles that are about $30, even though this used to be $60, and now it's up in our market to $80.
Oh, wow.
And the reason we tend to pair it against other $30 bottles is because that's about what it compares to taste-wise. It tastes like a $30 to $40 bourbon that's in the 90 proof range. It is exactly what it is. It's nothing it's not.
Yeah.
It's a 93 proof Kentucky bourbon out of a major distillery that's generally good and enjoyable. The bottle is beautiful to look at.
I think the trick is it's good whiskey, like not great, but good whiskey, decent whiskey, pleasant whiskey, and a very pretty bottle with a collectability aspect.
If that matters to you.
Which I think that trifecta has just skyrocketed it. And then, it breeds it upon itself. Like, people want it, so then people go get it. And then people have it, so they want it, so they go get it.
Yeah.
And it's just a cycle. So I think it's marketing genius, just make it took off.
What is marketing genius worth paying for? And to be fair, when our friend who got us his first bottle that worked at that liquor store, he said the number one thing that people ask for when they come in is Blantons. More than Pappy Van Winkle products, more than anything, people ask about Blantons. And he got it. He said he would get it in the double digits every day of people coming in asking for Blantons.
Do you think they asked for it more than a Pappy Van Winkle because they felt like they had more of a chance of getting this over a Pappy Van Winkle? Or do you think they liked it better?
I think
or maybe they've never had it.
I think this has a lot of pop cultural significance, or not significance, but visibility rather.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah.
It was in Justified. They were talking about drinking the good stuff, and they pulled out Blantons.
Okay.
It was in that series. It was in John Wick. Those movies.
Again,
it was his choice.
Marketing genius.
Right.
I'm gonna say it. This is good whiskey with a great marketing program.
Right.
Great.
Smart.
Fantastically marketed product.
Yeah. But what's that worth paying? So, like I said, we compare this to $30 bottles, but in our market now, you are not going to find one of these for under $79.99. Is this an $80 bottle of bourbon to you?
No.
But would you pay $80 once to have it on your shelf?
That's a hard question.
Yeah. I think I'm more inclined to pay $80 to $100 if I were going to get this as a gift for someone. It makes a great gift bottle. If I knew someone in my family, for instance, I wouldn't get this for another bourbon nerd or anything like that. I would get them something better, to be honest, something that I think is more interesting. But for someone who is newer to bourbon or just kind of casually likes whiskey, and they've never had this, or they have had it and they do know they like it and haven't got their hands on one in a long time because it's hard to get,
or
I would pay $80 to $100 to buy it for them.
Yeah.
Or I would pay that $80 in our market to have one bottle to keep in the house to share with guests when they come over, if this is what they want to try.
Especially because not everyone in our life is into whiskey.
Yeah.
But they probably they've lived long enough to have heard of Blantons before. So it does make for a good experience for guests if they're not into whiskey, the whiskey scene, but they're like, ooh, we could try a bottle of Blantons. Like, I feel like that persona of this bottle precedes itself, even in the non-whiskey communities, which, again, I'm sticking to my story. Marketing goldmine. Like, this product couldn't have marketed this better.
But it's you hear us raving about the marketing. You don't hear us raving about how incredible the whiskey is in the bottle.
The whiskey is good.
It's fine. It's good, standard quality Kentucky bourbon. If you can't get this, I think the alternatives to look for, my favorite alternative to this is just straight Green River bourbon. 90 proof.
Okay.
$35. has a little bit of the spice that this has, is very
it
enjoyable.
As like
it's fruity, sweet forward,
okay.
yep. And it's a beautiful bottle as well. It's not a single barrel, but in that way you get a little bit more consistency.
Fair.
So you can rely on liking it more regularly, and it's easier to find. Pretty much sits on shelves if it's in your market. Other than that, I think, you know, there's a ton of things like the Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Selects are one of my favorite replacement products for these because those are single barrels. They're 94 proof. They are also sweet forward, come in a beautiful bottle, and you get that single barrel experience. So you can kind of mix and match and see how those compare over time. But yeah, I mean, I don't think that this is a product that's personally worth chasing where I'm at or where we're at in our whiskey journey. Like, it's not something we ever reach for. This bottle just literally sits on our bar cart with the other, the bar cart's almost like the island of misfit toys around here. It's got a lot of the stuff that we don't drink, but we just have it out in case guests are over and see it and they might want like to drink it.
Yeah.
And we've got a few things mixed in for easy grab and go type of stuff if we need to grab something quickly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, generally speaking, everything we've said here kind of ties it all up. I mean, sweet forward, fruity. I get a little bit of that aspartaminess in this particular single barrel on the finish. That's like artificial sweetener taste.
I'm not getting that,
but yeah, overall good. I think the past catalog of head-to-heads is going to speak the most to this, so you can see how it compares to some other things, including Ancient Age 90 proof, which is a $15 liter, or $15 for like the equivalent of this same recipe. I think it's like $25 for a 1.75 liter.
Gotcha.
I think regular old Buffalo Trace, probably batched, has more age than this does. And I tend to grab that more than I tend to grab this, mainly because it's 25 or 30 bucks. And if I want this type of flavor profile, Buffalo Trace pretty much nails it. They're just varying shades of the same color.
That's fair, yeah.
And
that's true.
Not one is any better or worse than the other. And I can actually find and buy Buffalo Trace. So I can, if I want a light, easy, sweet, fruity sipper, I'll grab the Green River or the Buffalo Trace before I'll grab the Blantons, because I'm just not going to drink an $80 bottle of this by myself very often. But if you love it, then do you. You know, there's a ton of people who get flack for liking this online. I think we just want to highlight that it's not all that in a bag of chips, or.
But it's also not something to poo-poo. It's good. It's good.
It's fine.
I like it. I will say I like it. If we were doing like this as a head-to-head or something, I give this a thumbs up. I would drink it. Yeah. But also, I'm not going to rave about it and say I have to have a bottle. What if this goes away? I'm not going to be like, oh, we have to get another one.
Just realize what you're paying for, which, as we have spoken to multiple times, it's the marketing, it's the bottle. And if you've never had it and you're thinking about spending as much as $130 that I've seen it for in a lot of stores, $130 to $150, I cannot recommend enough going to a restaurant, going to a whiskey bar, trying a pour of this, but also have the bartender pour you regular old Buffalo Trace or Green River or any other 90 proof pour. And if they'll be willing to do it, have them blind you on it. Have them give you 2 glasses
and not tell you which one is which.
Taste them both and see if this blows your hair back, because I don't think it's going to give you that experience.
But if it does, then you know that you might be willing to pay a little bit more for it if you want to.
Yeah. But other than that, great looking bottle to have sitting on the shelf. Really can't go wrong in that regard. You also can't go wrong down in the comments or the video description below checking out our Patreon. We've got an awesome community of people over there. You know, this isn't our jam necessarily. It's a nice, easy going, but you know, Blanton's Gold is a little bit of a step up, and Blanton Straight from the Barrel is definitely more in line with what we tend to like. So if you're interested in any of those things, maybe you want to sample to see if you've been missing out on anything. We're doing sample swaps. People are helping each other find things over there on Patreon. Our
Patreon community is the most giving, caring, caring is sharing community ever.
Yeah. Well, we say we're about good people and good whiskey. So if you are good people and you like good whiskey, then you definitely should be part of our Patreon.
You should.
As little as $3 gets you in over on our Discord. And that's where everybody can help everybody out. And we just got stuff going on all the time. Got barrel picks going on all the time. Most of those are what we reach for to drink before we reach for something like this to drink.
Yeah.
And just tons of stuff going on. Private Patreon live streams, all kinds of cool stuff. Also, we have shirts like this one.
We do.
I love this shirt. I probably will never wear another shirt on the channel ever again, because I just love this one so much. But we got a ton of new designs over at stuffandwhiskey.com. And while you're down there poking around in the video description, poke that like button, subscribe to the channel.
Do you remember when Facebook had the poke feature?
Oh, that was the worst. That was an awful idea.
Yeah, it was.
hit the thumbs up bell. Hit the bell. Hit the thumbs up, hit the bell. The bell will let you know when we're going live. We do those once a month, and that will let you know we're going, and you can join us for a pour, and it'll be a ton of fun.
Yeah, we would love to have you join us for a live stream, but I think that's it for today.
It is.
Yeah. So be good to each other, guys, and until next time, cheers.
Cheers.